Hello, everyone. Welcome to Elisa Marie Designs. Elisa Maria here. How are you? Welcome back if you are back, and welcome if you are new. For those of you that clicked on this title because you are interested in how we respond to our environment, especially when we're not feeling well or we get into some sensory overload, which I have been dealing with for the past week. Welcome. My members and subscribers know that I've been not feeling well for about a week, and it hit me kind of out of the blue, but did it really? As a yoga teacher, also, this is a question that we ask all the time. Is that really true? And in my case, when I finally, I can't say I finally stopped, when my body actually said, no, we're not whispering to you anymore. I am putting you at a full stop, and I'm waving a very big flag in front of your face. And when I finally stopped and paid attention to what was going on, I learned a lot. And I always teach from where I am on this channel. Yes, it's a diamond painting channel, but I take these deep dives every now and again, especially on Self-Care Sunday. So welcome if you're here. So let me tell you what's going on. This video that you're watching here, I edited it heavily because, it took me all day long to kit up this kit from Make Market. And I'll tell you why I chose this kit to do while I was not feeling well. And I left a lot of the little bumps and blunders that are going on here. Actually, it has a lot to do with what I spoke to my doctor about. And I was talking to her very much like I'm talking to you. I'm like, I've always had this kind of like very aware of my surroundings, but now I just seem like it's on. I'm just very agitated and moody, and I can't concentrate. And she's like, let's do a COVID test and a flu test on you. And I really thought, well, okay, it's going to come back positive because I had not just COVID, long COVID, the whole shebang, can't taste, extreme fatigue. And it came back negative. To my surprise, I was really just crashing, really feeling very tired. In fact, this started not this past Thursday, the Thursday before. I was working on Unbridled Spirit, another canvas for Year of the Horse, and I was becoming very agitated with the canvas. The canvas is confetti heavy, and I have a system for confetti that I use where it makes confetti very easy for me. And if you're interested in those videos, it's called Confetti Chaos to Calm, and I will link them down below. And I had a new magnifying lamp from Art Dot, and I was testing that out. I had unboxed it for you guys, but I wanted to really work with it and test it, and I can't live without it right now. And I was becoming even more agitated because the magnifying lens was not really helping, and I was really agitated with the symbols, with dark symbols being printed on a dark background, but really sensitive to this. It's like, okay, I can see what it is, but I was really straining. Didn't realize I was blaming it entirely on the canvas, but didn't realize how much I was in overload. And as I was telling my doctor this, she said, Elisa, what you're going through, it's starting to make sense to me now. You may not have COVID or the flu, but you are going through a post-viral fatigue, is what it sounds like to me. And what happens is you're not just pushing through a little bug. It's turning into a cycle. You're feeling better, but then you're crashing, and now you're starting to have symptoms. In my case, it was heaviness in the chest and this extreme fatigue that even when I had slept 10, 12 hours, I could not open my eyes. And I felt like that during COVID. And that is the warning sign. This is not anymore. You have a little bug and let's push through it. We shouldn't be pushing through little bugs because little bugs do sometimes turn into this cycle. So that's exactly what post-viral fatigue cycle feels like. You feel better, you get back to what you're doing, but your body crashes. And it's very common with respiratory viruses. And I put little pieces of text here so because I didn't want to forget anything that I wanted to tell you guys. And I don't know if anything floated by me. But the one thing that you're going to see here is in this video is when I am like in a heightened sensory sensitivity. I can tell just by the way I am working here right now. I'm very agitated right now. The drills are falling. I can't, I usually keep a fingertip moisturizer on my desk. You know, that little waxy thing that, you know, you might see a banker use. They wet their fingertips with it. If you go to the casino, they wet their fingertips with it to count money. It's basically what it's used for. I used to use it in my restaurant all the time, dealing with cash, dealing with receipts and stuff. But I mean, I don't know if the part came up where I had put things on backwards. I didn't even look to see is the case. Where does it open up at here? I just wanted to do something, but I'm not in my flow. And you guys know what your flow is, right? You sit down at your desk. I'm not even sitting, which is so unusual for me. I'm so not myself here. I'm actually standing. I'm hunched over. I'm trying to cut these. Thankfully, the residue from where I took the labels off was still on there a little bit, so that was a little bit of a help there. But I can just tell I'm having such a struggle opening up these little containers. And did I realize here that they're on backwards again? I mean, I am not entertained right now. I kind of laugh when I'm nervous. But I'm like, why were you trying to do this when you did not feel well? Why? I mean, are you punching a clock or something? You know, um, I'm really sad for me right now watching me do this video. So the heightened sensory sensitivity, I'm very annoyed also right now with deciding not only do this, but I'm standing, I'm uncomfortable. My desk, I didn't have the energy to clear it. And so I'm working in a very small, cramped, and it's just adding to the heightened sensitivity of what is going on peripherally in my vision. I'm not really concentrating because in my peripheral vision, I see all this chaos. And for a person like me, this is like kryptonite. You know, this is just like, yeah, I forgot about the tray. If you're not watching this, I learned from our crafty home, hi Jules, hi Lorraine, that to use the tray, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so smart, it's stupid, right? Use your tray. Put your drills in the tray and then try and get them in these little slots here or whatever case you're using. But I don't know. I think I was just getting agitated. I didn't want to have one more step to do. And I went back to being irrational. That's the only thing I can think of. But these darker colors, I can also tell they're not the static has not entered here. And of course, I'm getting so agitated with, just look at the tension in my hands. Is it so important that I get that last little drill out? No. Then I'm getting agitated because I can't find my fingertip moisturizer that I have. I think I wet my hand with cleaner. Yep, there it is. My eyeglass cleaner that I use. There you go. Oh my gosh. Taking a breath here, guys. I can't lay down in there, it's too loud. So as I was saying about last Thursday, while I was diamond painting and just becoming agitated with my surroundings, with my canvas, with the beautiful magnifying lamp that I have, it's because I'm not in my flow. I'm not focused. And what I learned also from my doctor is that when your nervous system is overloaded, your senses do become heightened because they're overloaded. So oh gosh, John cannot come near me with his cell phone. Like it's gotten to the point where I would just swat his hand away. I'm so sensitive to the light from the cell phone. I'm so sensitive to sound, and of course the visual clutter. So it's like my eyes really take the impact. That's where I really started to begin to notice the something's not right here. Like I'm more agitated by my surroundings, because usually I'll do something and I'll say, okay, I got to clear this desk. We got to stop. We got to break. We got to pause, clear the desk. And I can't even wait until I'm done with what I'm doing, because I need to get it out of my way, and I need to get it out of my way now. So if you notice, this, is not always just that you're moody. I'm in a bad mood. I'm moody. I'm agitated. Sometimes it is that your senses are overloaded. And though I did not feel sick, I felt like a little scratchy throat. I was pushing through more than I should have been. And it was really my son who said, "Mom, you're sick again." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're always sick. You're always telling me you don't feel good. I don't like this." And it really, between my husband and my son, I'm like, I have to go to the doctors. Not even myself. I'm not even sitting down long enough to listen to myself. And then I really thought, when I crashed, of where I just could not get up now. Now it's like, it's not like a little rest, like, oh, I don't feel good, let me go lay down. It was also a headache. But not a migraine and not a normal headache. And I just thought, well, it's eye strain. I'm straining my eyes to look at this canvas. Even with the magnifying glass, I can't see it. No, my eyes were overloaded. My sight, my perception, and I'm agitated. So the question that I wonder about, and I'm going to pose to any of you that are listening, how many of us feel this way, but don't realize what's actually happening? We just feel off. We just feel agitated or unsettled, and we don't understand why. I really filter out a lot of the world. So it's not that, like my husband will say, well, you're just stressed, and I'm like, what am I stressed about? I'm not stressed about anything, what do I have to be stressed about? And I wonder how many of us feel this way without understanding that our body might just be asking us to slow down. And I know it's hard. We live in a very fast-paced world. Things change so quickly, and we all want to stay on top of our game. But how much can we really process? If you're not processing what came before, and the next thing is already happening, how do we really even know where we are half the time? Sensitivity is a gift, but when we're run down, it can become too much. Because when your body is run down, your nervous system loses its buffer. So everything feels louder, brighter, messier, even if nothing's changed. And this is where I was, and pretty much still am, as I watch myself kid up here. I can just tell by the way I am moving. I watch myself, I edit myself a lot. And I think it's something we should all do from time to time, is just record ourselves, record how you work. I have a barometer here, so I kind of know, but I wasn't looking for this. And now that I am looking for it, I see it. I'm just going through my notes. My husband, I took a break and I was talking to him about this. He came home from the gym and he's like, "How are you feeling?" And I said, it feels kind of good to be back at my desk. I feel very relaxed. I'm talking. I'm not needing to take many breaks to catch some breath in my chest because I needed an inhaler. So that was the other thing that happened when my doctor had said, your test came back negative. However, it doesn't mean that you didn't have something. And now that we're talking and you're telling me what's going on, because I did go out. So Thursday, I was not feeling good. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I still was in this deep fog of sleep. But my husband had a very big gig and I do all his promotional work. So being that I didn't have a fever, I didn't have a runny nose, I didn't have a cough, I just figured I'm tired, It might be good to go out and get some air. And that's really where I relapsed. And that's what got me to the doctors. And then it was, if anything, I learned from this whole experience, no more pushing through, no more filming, and no more talking. Just gentle creation. And I thought that this was gentle creation here, but I can tell that it was not. But John just came home from the gym and I told him how I was feeling. And he's like, "Well, what are you talking about?" I said, "Well, I'm kind of just teaching from where I am and telling my experience because I hope it validates something for any of you, one of you listening, that's like, hey, you know what? I am like that. I find myself being very agitated and moody, and I just think maybe I'm in a bad mood, but keep a journal. It's another reason why I keep a journal. And I go back and I explore, like, what was I thinking on this day or that day? What was I writing about? Sometimes we don't know where to begin our journal, which is why I like stream of consciousness journaling, where I don't have to, I just kind of siphon off what am I thinking about? And if I start my journal with like, I'm not feeling good today, that's a sign right there. And if it continues, then why are you not feeling good? Well, what's going on? And like I said, no runny nose, no scratchy throat, no cough. It was very insidious, this viral infection. And it wasn't until my doctor said, "Listen, but I'm listening to your chest and I'm listening to what you're telling me. You really are not taking a full breath." So I was telling John about it and I was like, it's so interesting that this started with a headache and it started with my eyes hurting. And I just always am like, well, that's just the way that I am. I'm very sensitive to sight and sound and noises. And he's like, yes, but Elisa, you also are were a child who had childhood epilepsy and you had grand mal seizures, so you're already predisposed to light and sensitivity in your system. So also take a look back at your childhood. What was it like? Ask questions if you can. Were you sick as a child? Do you remember being sick? Because usually we don't remember being sick. We just remember that we couldn't go outside. um, Ask questions. Like, you might jog something even with your parents saying, you know what? Yeah, as a kid, you did have like sniffles or that's the other thing. I thought maybe this is just an allergy. Allergy season is coming around. Maybe this is just allergies. Yeah, allergies might make your eyes water and your throat feel scratchy, but this deep, intense COVID like body hurts, but not body aches and pains like you have a virus. Body aches and pains like I'm not tired, I'm exhausted is something completely different. So I hope that you found a deeper insight if you are also aware that you are a sensitive person and that sometimes we just write things off. Um, when we just say, I'm overly sensitive. I'm more sensitive than the average person. My senses are more sensitive to their surroundings, to light, to sound. So I know that I have found a deeper insight, and I think that's really what I want to anchor in this self-care Sunday today, is that when I'm not well, my senses become incredibly sensitive. I gave you um, examples about light and sound and clutter and peripheral distraction and agitation. And I realize, and maybe you can explore this for yourself also, that sometimes we just don't realize we're overstimulated. We just feel off. And it's not that you're an overly sensitive person or that you take things harder than the average person. It's that your senses are overloaded. And maybe it can be triggered too from just an allergy season. We start to take these antihistamines. Our eyes, I can't take them anymore. I went to the eye doctor and he's like, your eyes are so dry, I can't even put a test strip in them because it will just stick to your eyeball. What is going on here? And what kind of medications are you on? And when I said, oh yeah, I take an antihistamine, like my husband is taking one now to get ahead of the curve when everything starts blooming. And he's like, you can't do that. Your eyes are so dry. And I sometimes feel like I have bottle caps in my eyes. And I'm old enough to remember when you wanted to wear contact lenses as a young girl. You didn't want to wear glasses. I wanted to wear contacts. And the only thing available to me was hard contacts. And they just felt like bottle caps in your eyes. And so, yeah, so maybe that could be a trigger too, to you experiencing these symptoms of what starts out as being tired, then becomes fatigue, and then becomes complete exhaustion. I seriously, with all my heart, if I can prevent this from happening to any one of you, where you just bottom out because you're not aware that you're overly stimulated. I'm not saying that you can't create when you're overly stimulated. Look at me, I'm on the struggle bus here. But it's such a passion of mine. It's something that I need to do, but I didn't need to perform. It was already a struggle to try and do something that I love so much, that makes me heal, helps me heal. I started diamond painting because it was something that healed me through the loss of my companion that I had, my little Yorkie of 19 years. And it helped me heal the grief that I was going through that was becoming so excessive, and really, again, a deeply heightened sensitivity. So I lean on diamond painting the way that I lean on my journaling to help me through not just the good times and the in-between times, but the extreme bad times also. And I use it as a barometer to because once you do a brain dump and you journal, and I'm talking about journaling because it has to do with also this, why I'm creating these canvases for Make Market. Once you do a brain dump when you journal, especially stream of consciousness, it doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to make sense. You just write. You just write. You can write the same line over and over again, but it's a way to clear the clutter that's happening internally in your mind, in your heart, what you're thinking about, and you just write. So I decided to take these Make Market canvases out because when I did my Raven event that I do with my members this year, last year it was 5 weeks in October. This year, 5 weeks happened in September. And I will be doing that event again with them this year. So the reason why I took these Michael's canvases out, and you'll see them at the end of this video. This is the next day. And I did not edit this video at all the next day because I wanted you to have a comparison to what one day to the next looks like. I learned a few things from the day before, but it was good to take that break. I will tell you that. It was good to take that break because I did have a little bit more of a flow this day. My hands might look a little bit relaxed. I just kind of rushed through this video because it was only supposed to be music now at this point. But I decided to make these because I want them to be journals. So one of my members, Tracy, did the Raven, and I'll show you at the end of this video what I have completed this past week. She did a Raven and she put it on her journal composition book. I don't know if we made composition books. I don't know if we made journals in the Raven event, but maybe we'll do it this year. And so we decorated our journals. I think I had some clip art. I can't really remember, but it was really important that even if you didn't journal in these books, that you maybe used it for something, but it was something that was made with your own hands. And I think being that it's a composition book, something that you can easily get in a dollar store, not spend much money on, you're more inclined to want to use it as, you're more inclined to want to use it because you don't feel like you are ruining an expensive journal. And that's a big stop sign for a lot of people journaling. They think that they need to be Jane Austen with a feather and an inkwell and perfect penmanship. But when you just write in a composition book, and if you make a mistake or you scratch some things out, these are my most beloved things that I have when it comes to self-care. When I moved out of my home to move into John's home, and he said, "What do you want to take?" He picked me up from one of my sessions at my home where I was cleaning things up. He said, "Do you want to bring anything back to the house with you?" And I said, "Yes, this banker box." So he's like, "Oh, okay." He carried it out to the car, brought it home. He goes, "Where do you want this banker box?" I said, "In my room." He's like, "Oh, I thought maybe you would store it in the basement." I said, "Oh no, they're all my journals in there." And he's like, "Can I open the lid and take a peek?" And I said, "Yeah." And there must have been, I kid you not, 50 composition books, all handmade, all decorated in the front, all different covers. And he's like, I know that you love journaling. I know that you do it every single day. I had no idea, none at all, how much you truly use this tool. And he just always admired it. And from that grew John and I leaving a composition book on the kitchen table because our schedules were different. He was on day work, I was on night work, and we would leave each other messages so that when I went to bed, he woke up to what my night was like. And when I got up, I woke up to what his morning was like. So I do want to leave you guys with a little meditation time here. So I am going to, I feel my throat getting a little scratchy here. So I'm going to call it quits. I'm going to practice what I preach. But it feels so good to be back with you guys. I missed you guys so, so much. I did not that I couldn't hold my phone or look at my phone because of the light, but I couldn't answer you guys. And thank you so much for all your messages and emails and text messages. I really missed being here with all of you. So I'm going to leave you with a little bit of meditation time with some music, and I'll show you a little bit of what I created these 12, 13 days that I've been gone. Maybe not 10 days. Seems longer. And I will see you as always in the next one. Get ready for our next book read and another canvas for our book. I will see you, as always, in the next one coming up this week. Bye.